Well, good morning. General P., Lieutenant General Frakely, Mr. Shaw, distinguished guests, and most importantly, cadets, welcome to the 2010 George C. Marshall Awards ceremony and seminar. This event celebrates Cadet Command's best and brightest. Cadets, congratulations on this great achievement. Look around. To your left and right, you'll see future brigade and division commanders, and perhaps a future Chief of Staff of the Army. Know that America sleeps soundly at night, knowing our Army will be in good hands far into the future. There's an inscription written on one of the walls of the Washington, D.C. National World War II Memorial. It contains the words of George C. Marshall. "We are determined that before the sun sets on this terrible struggle, our flag will be recognized throughout the world as a symbol of freedom on one hand and of overwhelming force on the other." These words were spoken by a man at the pinnacle of his career. He knew that education, self-reflection, and growing through adversity would improve the Army. This concept of continual learning allowed our Army to answer the nation's call and succeed. You are recipients of a distinguished award that embodies the concept of selfless public service. You are successors to the tradition established by George C. Marshall, a man of character who rose through the ranks to serve as the Army Chief of Staff, General of the Army, Secretary of State, and Secretary of Defense. Marshall was a citizen soldier in the finest tradition of America's great republic. Leaders are made through education, training, and experience, and George C. Marshall was a great leader. General Marshall had a remarkable gift of quickly making connections with key people and establishing his role as a leader. At a time when the Army was expanding technologically, he used his leadership and foresight to help shape the Army that we know today. A dynamic and diverse organization with technical, tactical, and professional capabilities. George C. Marshall was a progressive and dynamic leader, especially in the face of adversity. According to his biography, he held a number of junior military assignments with responsibilities that were far beyond his rank. For example, in 1902, as a second lieutenant in the Philippines, in the absence of senior Army officers and civilian authority, Marshall became his unit's company commander and effectively the governor of southern Mindoro. Marshall faced many challenges: severe environmental conditions, disease epidemics, and learning to establish the rule of law. He demonstrated at an early age that the true measure of a leader was not how he performed when things were going well, but how he did when facing adversity. Many of you will face similar situations in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. As young leaders at the tip of the spear, you will be expected to think outside the proverbial box. In remote locations, you will lead your soldiers in critical tasks like nation building and rule of law. You have stepped up and answered the nation's call to duty, and you will face trials and adversity as leaders. But it is important to understand the difference between getting through versus growing through struggles. Every hardship carries with it a seed of equal or greater benefit. Like George C. Marshall, use these experiences to develop yourselves and those you lead. As leaders, you will need to make deliberate, tough decisions quickly and show real commitment to your soldiers. The key to success in complex environments is understanding processes and, more importantly, knowing yourself and your soldiers. Now, later in his career, Marshall succeeded time and time again because of his continual pursuit of learning. His success started as a cadet here at VMI, where he learned the traditions of the Army. But it was his drive to better himself and his units that is his true legacy. The constant self-reflection to learn from experiences and improve the organization. This week, you will have the opportunity to share in this Marshall concept of learning. You will exchange ideas on some of the most important geopolitical topics of the day. You will also hear from senior Army leaders, including the Chief of Staff of the Army, the Commanding General of Training and Doctrine Command, and today, the Commanding General of U.S. Army Accessions Command. Our seminar leaders and guest speakers have cleared their calendars and traveled here to mentor you and share in the concept of self-reflection and education. But keep in mind that communication is a two-way street. We invite you to take the initiative and take an active role in engaging your seminar leaders in discussion as you share and exchange in our dynamic and diverse culture of ideas presented here. In a few weeks, you'll be commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army, and will soon have the honor and responsibility to lead America's sons and daughters and continue the Marshall concept of learning, self-reflection, and growing through adversity to continually improve yourselves and your units. I look forward to meeting and speaking with you in the days ahead, so let's have a great conference. Start strong, Army strong. Hooah. Hooah.